Greetings, Sigmas. In a world obsessed with followers, filters, and fitting in, the most powerful man is the one who doesn't care to play the game. While others fight for validation, the Sigma male opts out and wins quietly. Here's the twist. Psychological studies confirm that people often perceive silent individuals as more intelligent, mysterious, and dominant. Why? Because silence creates ambiguity, and the human brain fills in that gap, usually with exaggerated assumptions. When a man chooses silence, others project strength onto him. That's real psychological influence. Sigmas don't climb ladders, they build their own paths. They don't crave attention, but they command it. This isn't about rebellion for its own sake, it's about self-mastery. In sociology, the Sigma archetype represents a lone wolf who operates outside traditional social hierarchies, unlike alphas or betas. He's self-reliant, emotionally grounded, and unafraid of solitude, a trait that often unnerves others. Think about it. How do you threaten a man who doesn't need your system, your approval, or your applause? You don't. That's the secret. While others perform, the Sigma observes. While the world shouts, he listens. This quiet confidence generates an undeniable presence. Today we'll break down this powerful mindset, what fuels it, what shapes it, and why society doesn't quite know how to handle it. By the end, you won't just understand the Sigma. You'll see why he's always 3 moves ahead, watching, calculating, and completely unbothered. Let's begin. Point 1, Sigmas can't be controlled. Let's start with the biggest one. You can't control a Sigma. People fear what they can't manipulate. And in a world built on social contracts, status hierarchies, and groupthink, Sigma males disrupt the entire blueprint. They're the wild card in the deck, impossible to predict, let alone control. The Sigma archetype, often associated with lone wolves or independent thinkers, is rooted in psychology's exploration of dominance hierarchies. Unlike alphas, who assert control through leadership, or betas, who find safety in following, Sigmas opt out entirely. They live by their own code, guided not by social approval, but by personal mission. This independence makes them immune to typical forms of influence. A Sigma doesn't chase validation or rely on group identity. He doesn't dress, act, or speak to impress others. That makes manipulation nearly impossible. You can't guilt-trip someone who doesn't depend on your approval. You can't shame someone who's already accepted himself. Emotional blackmail, it bounces right off, and that's unsettling. For many, control is safety. We're conditioned to measure power through influence, how many followers, how much sway, how obedient your circle is. But a Sigma operates outside of those metrics, which can make people feel powerless around him. It's like playing a game of chess, only to realize your opponent is playing a different game altogether. Research into nonconformist behavior shows that individuals who resist social influence often evoke both admiration and resentment. Why? Because their autonomy highlights others' dependence. When someone sees a Sigma walking freely, they subconsciously confront the restrictions in their own lives. That contrast creates discomfort. But here's the twist. Fear is often just admiration wrapped in insecurity. People might label Sigmas as arrogant, aloof, or even rebellious, but deep down they're fascinated. It's the kind of awe you feel when witnessing someone living untethered. So, yes, you can't control a Sigma. But maybe that's not the point. Maybe the reason they're so feared is the same reason they're secretly respected. Point 2, Sigmas reflect people's insecurities. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Being around a Sigma male forces people to look in the mirror, and not everyone likes what they see. Sigma males don't walk into a room with fanfare or flashy displays. They don't need to. Their quiet confidence and relentless self-improvement speak volumes. They're not chasing trophies or applause, they're pursuing mastery. According to psychologist Carl Jung's personality theories, Sigmas often resemble introverted, independent thinkers with high levels of self-awareness and autonomy. They don't conform and they don't compete for status. They transcend it. And that's where the discomfort starts. Most people are conditioned to seek external validation, likes, followers, compliments. These are the currency of self-worth for the masses. But a Sigma doesn't operate on that economy. He moves from a sense of inner purpose, and when others see this, it exposes their own dependencies. It's like standing next to someone who's been running uphill while you've been coasting on a flat road. You can't help but notice the difference. The average person settles for comfort. Sigmas stretch into the unknown. They ask harder questions, take smarter risks, and build a life rooted in growth rather than approval. And when people sense that contrast, it ignites discomfort. Not because the Sigma is doing something wrong, but because others start to see what they're not doing. Here's the kicker. It's not the Sigma they resent, it's the mirror he holds up. He becomes a living reminder of what could be, if only they dared to try. To put it another way, a Sigma isn't the storm, he's the pressure system that makes everyone realize their umbrella was just for show. So here's the takeaway. Never dim your light because it makes others squint. Shine anyway. Your growth might sting some people's pride, but it could also inspire someone to finally level up. And if it makes a few insecure egos squirm, that's just proof your presence has power. Point 3, Sigmas are immune to social hierarchies. You know that ladder everyone's trying to climb? The Sigma male doesn't care to climb it. He'd rather build his own. And that disrupts the whole system. Society thrives on structure. From high school cliques to corporate titles, there's an unspoken belief that you're supposed to know your place and work your way up. Alpha males often dominate the top rungs, setting the tone with authority and charisma. Beta males may follow, content with structure and validation from the group, but Sigma males, they defy the game entirely. The Sigma male is the archetype of self-reliance. Unlike the Alpha, he doesn't need dominance, and unlike the Beta, he doesn't seek acceptance. He moves through life on his own terms. This mindset is rooted in psychological independence, a concept linked to internal locus of control, where individuals believe they shape their own destiny rather than being controlled by external forces. What makes the Sigma so unsettling is that he fits in, but refuses to stay in any box. He can hold his own with alphas, engage with betas, and connect with outliers, but he never conforms. This ability to blend without belonging makes him unpredictable. And unpredictable means unclassifiable. That makes people uncomfortable. There's also a biological edge here. Evolutionary psychology suggests humans are wired to categorize quickly for survival. When someone doesn't fit into known categories, our brains flag them as a threat or unknown variable. That's the Sigma. Now let's talk energy. Ever walked into a room where someone doesn't speak much, yet everyone takes notice? That's Sigma presence. People instinctively try to place them. Who is he? Who's he with? What's his role? And when they realize the Sigma isn't tied to anyone, doesn't need approval, and doesn't play by the rules, they feel uneasy. This isn't arrogance or isolation, it's freedom. Freedom from expectation, from labels, from the need to perform for others. In a world obsessed with hierarchy, the Sigma male's refusal to climb the ladder and his choice to build his own is the ultimate power move. Point 4, Sigmas operate on logic, not emotion. Let's face it, most arguments, drama, and manipulation hinge on one thing: emotional buttons. Guilt, fear, flattery, or even anger are the levers many people use to gain control in relationships and social dynamics. But what happens when someone simply doesn't react, when there's no button to press? Enter the Sigma male. A Sigma male is emotionally disciplined. He listens more than he speaks. He evaluates before he responds. He chooses honesty over popularity, clarity over chaos. In a world driven by emotional noise, he becomes the silence that unnerves manipulators. Why does this bother people so much? Because emotional manipulators depend on predictable responses. They're used to pressing guilt and watching someone bend, or using flattery to steer someone's choices. But the Sigma, he doesn't play that game. Here's where it gets entertaining. Trying to manipulate a Sigma is like trying to catch smoke with a net. You'll end up frustrated and confused. It's like throwing confetti at a tank and expecting it to stop. The Sigma's calm is not a lack of emotion. It's emotional self-mastery. This isn't just some internet myth either. Studies in emotional intelligence show that individuals with high emotional regulation are more resistant to manipulation and coercion. They think critically, avoid impulsive behavior, and focus on long-term outcomes rather than short-term emotional flare-ups. In simple terms, they don't get dragged into drama because they see it for what it is, an attempt to control. And that's the Sigma's superpower. His grounded presence creates stability in chaotic situations. He's like a lighthouse in a storm, unshaken, quiet, but powerfully illuminating. So if you're cultivating Sigma traits, remember this. Emotional discipline isn't about suppressing your feelings, it's about mastering them. Let your calm be louder than their chaos. Stay grounded, stay clear. Let the world throw its confetti. You're still rolling forward like a tank. Point 5. Sigmas are mysterious by nature. Let's admit it, mystery is undeniably sexy. But it also scares the heck out of people. In today's world, where everyone seems to be sharing every thought, feeling, and moment online, the Sigma male stands apart like an impenetrable fortress. He grants no unnecessary access, no oversharing, no casual broadcasting of his inner world. This kind of silence in a world obsessed with noise creates discomfort, and for good reason. Psychologically, humans have a deep need to categorize and understand what they encounter. It's how our brains make sense of the world quickly and efficiently. When someone defies easy categorization, like the Sigma male who doesn't fit neatly into social boxes, it triggers a mix of curiosity and unease. People find it hard to predict his behavior, which breaks their usual patterns of social control and influence. Simply put, if they can't figure you out, they can't control or compete with you. This unpredictability becomes a form of silent power. This isn't just theory. Research in social psychology shows that ambiguity about a person often leads others to feel anxious or frustrated. The Sigma's quiet confidence disrupts this dynamic, making him both intriguing and intimidating. Here's a witty truth. A Sigma's silence is louder than most people's noise. His reserved nature speaks volumes, often louder than words ever could. Instead of explaining himself endlessly, he lets his actions do the talking. This isn't arrogance, it's a strategic choice that creates respect and fascination. So, if you identify with this vibe, don't feel pressured to justify your silence or explain every nuance of your character. Embrace the power of subtlety. Let your actions whisper what words don't need to say, and watch how the world responds, often with awe and curiosity. Mystery isn't just sexy, it's a magnetic force. Point 6, Sigmas don't chase validation. This one's huge. Sigma males don't seek the spotlight. They don't crave applause or public validation. They don't chase followers, likes, or social media clout. Why? Because their validation comes from one place, themselves. Psychologically, this is called where a person's drive comes from internal satisfaction, not external rewards. Sigmas embody this perfectly. They're confident in who they are without needing constant external approval. Studies in psychology show that people who rely less on external validation tend to have higher self-esteem and emotional resilience. When others see someone thriving quietly without the usual fanfare, it can trigger discomfort or even panic. Why? Because it challenges a deeply ingrained cultural belief that if you're truly successful, the crowd will cheer, the spotlight will find you, and you'll go viral. Sigmas shatter that illusion. They prove you can be fulfilled, happy, and successful without trending or winning popularity contests. Here's the truth bomb. When you stop needing the crowd to cheer, you become free. Free to define your own path, free to set your own rules, and free to focus on what truly matters to you. Imagine a life where you stop chasing approval and start building your vision quietly but powerfully. No more exhausting attempts to fit in or perform for others. Instead, you're creating something real, meaningful, and aligned with your values. In essence, Sigmas are masters of their own game. They understand that true freedom and success come from within, from self-acceptance, self-reliance, and an unwavering commitment to personal growth. So ask yourself, what would your life look like if you stopped chasing applause and started building your own legacy? Would you dare to be a Sigma? Point 7, Sigmas are disruptive by default. A Sigma male doesn't try to rebel. He simply is a rebel, but not out of anger or frustration, rather from a place of authenticity. Unlike the typical rebel who often acts out to provoke or push against authority, the Sigma male's defiance comes naturally because he refuses to settle for anything less than real. He questions everything from societal norms to everyday customs, never accepting things just because that's how it's always been done. This intrinsic skepticism and refusal to conform means the Sigma male rejects fake smiles, hollow traditions, and superficial expectations. He's not interested in fitting into predefined boxes or following crowds. Instead, he forges his own path, guided by his values and genuine self-expression. This kind of disruption inevitably makes waves because it challenges the status quo. Systems of power, whether social, corporate, or cultural, thrive on predictability, order, and conformity. The Sigma male's authenticity threatens these systems because it exposes their fragility and artificiality. When someone refuses to play by the rules or puts truth above politeness, it rattles the foundations that many take for granted. Even some friends may feel uncomfortable or threatened by this unyielding honesty and nonconformity, mistaking it for arrogance or aloofness. Psychologically, this behavior aligns with the idea of nonconformity in social science, which can be both admired and feared. Nonconformists often drive progress and innovation precisely because they aren't bound by tradition or peer pressure. Here's a witty insight. The Sigma male isn't trying to be different. He's just allergic to average. He embodies a powerful message to the world. Embrace your truth, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Be the kind of authentic, unfiltered truth that makes the world squirm, because realness is the ultimate form of rebellion in a world built on facades. Point 8. Sigmas are comfortable being alone. And finally, this one might be the scariest of all. The Sigma male is completely comfortable in solitude. While most people automatically associate being alone with feeling lonely or isolated, the Sigma sees solitude quite differently, as sacred space. It's not a punishment or a void, but a powerful opportunity for growth, creativity, and self-discovery. Psychologists and behavioral experts highlight that being comfortable alone is actually a mark of emotional intelligence and self-awareness. The Sigma doesn't need constant social interaction to feel validated or worthy. Unlike many who rely on relationships and external noise to boost their mood or self-esteem, Sigmas find their energy and sense of purpose internally. This self-sufficiency terrifies some people, especially those who depend on others to feel okay or who fear being alone. But for the Sigma, solitude is where the magic happens. It's the place to build ideas, reflect deeply, recharge mentally and emotionally, and connect with their true selves. Research shows that solitude can enhance creativity and problem-solving skills because it allows the mind to wander without distraction. Many legendary figures, from writers to inventors, have credited solitude as the key to their breakthroughs. Here's a wise reminder. A man who is at peace with himself alone becomes unstoppable when he interacts with others. Solitude isn't loneliness, it's a sanctuary. It's where legends are born, where strength is forged quietly but powerfully. So the next time you see someone thriving in their own company, don't fear it. Respect it, because that comfort in solitude might just be the secret to unstoppable greatness. Sigmas, if the world fears you, it's because they see something in you they don't yet understand. Your independence, your discipline, your mystery, your clarity, these are not weaknesses, they are your edge. And here's the truth. The more you embrace your Sigma nature, the more you give permission for others to break free from their own cages. So own your space. Walk your path. Be unapologetically you. Now, if this video lit a fire in you, don't just scroll past. Hit that subscribe button like this video. Join this Sigma community, and let's raise the standard together. Apply these Sigma qualities to your life and watch everything around you start to shift. Stay true and stay Sigma.